Hi Spanish 4 students. This is the video that you're supposed to watch for tomorrow, and I want you to take out your presentación oral sheets. They say presentación orales. Remember I told you we're going to be talking about an essay, un ensayo de varias fuentes. It looks like this, so if you could take that out of your folder or wherever you have it. What we're going to be doing is we're basically going to be taking some notes and be using this to help us write our papers in class tomorrow. So what if you could take out a piece of paper, you can either be lined paper, I don't really care. You're going to use this and you really should do a good job at this because it's going to help you tomorrow. So even before we start writing, I want you to take some time to think about something in your life that seems insignificant but has totally changed your life. So for example, when I wrote my presentación oral, when I was writing, this is what I wrote. When I think of a house that is not that is not very important, I think of a piece of paper on my dresser. But it has the words, the University of Ball State, and my name. Underneath my name, it says that I graduated from the university. It is only a small piece of paper, but has had an impact very strong on my life. So, even though this is a very small thing, if you would look at it, it's just a piece of paper. It has had a huge impact and has totally changed my life in pretty significant ways. So what I want you to do on your paper, if you could just label it number 1, and if you could just write down some things that have changed about your life. So maybe it could be if you were presenting this to someone, maybe you went to church camp for a few days. Yeah, it totally changed your life. It seems insignificant, but maybe it totally changed the way that you think. Maybe you went on a trip to a different country, and after you got back, it totally changed your perspective on life. So if you just want to pause the video and just take a few minutes to think about that, and then I would like you to write about it in Spanish. It could be one sentence, okay? Just describe the thing that has changed your life, and tell me why it has changed your life. After you get done doing that, and before you start writing the second paragraph, I just want you to take a moment to think about before you had this thing or participated in this activity. How was your life? How has your life changed? And I want you to write it down. So, for example, for number 2, some things that I could say about my life. I could say, before, antes de graduarme de la universidad, mi vida era, I could say mi vida era aburrida. My life was boring. I grew up in Muncie. Mi vida estaba in Indiana. I had never left the country before, and that was my first time. I got to go to Spain, and I got to go to Spain because I was a Spanish student, and that's how I got my degree. So even though it was a very small thing, it had a huge impact on my life. Mi vida no era muy diferente. But after I graduated, después de graduarme de la universidad, my life totally changed after I got that small piece of paper, my diploma. After this, my life was exciting. Mi vida era emocionada. I got all kinds of really neat experiences. Along with teaching, I also got to do a lot of neat things. I got to go to Costa Rica 3 times. I got to go to Spain, Paris, and Italy, and I did that all in the last 8 years. And so all of these experiences, all of these rich experiences I gained from this small piece of paper. Also, my life was full of people from different countries. Mi vida estaba llena de personas de países diferentes. So now I know people from all over the United States and all over the world, and these people are my friends. En realidad, mi vida cambió. So my life changed. So what I want you to do is I just want you to talk about how your life was before you did this thing. It can just be small sentences. It doesn't have to be long, elaborate sentences. Just write down some things, use some adjectives to describe your life before you had this thing or you had participated in maybe this small experience. It seems small. So just take some time, stop the video, and write down 3 things before you had this thing and then after you had this thing. So the third thing that we're going to do, I just want you to label this number 3. And on number 3, and this is coinciding with the third paragraph that you're going to be writing for tomorrow on your ensayo de varias fuentes. Remember from last Friday, we talked about 2 different fuentes. We talked about las tapas, and we also talked about the Post-its. And these are 2 sources that you're going to incorporate into your ensayo de varias fuentes. If we look down on the ensayo de varias fuentes, and you look at the third paragraph, it starts out, por ejemplo, durante mi viaje a España. If you look at this, I'm quoting, or I'm incorporating 2 of the sources. I'm incorporating la historia de las tapas, and I'm also incorporating the other source that I talked about, algo pequeño se me ha resultado grande. So, la historia de las tapas, I talked a little bit about that. I really broke it down so you could understand it. Hopefully you read it over this weekend so you can understand it a little bit more. But basically when you're incorporating sources, if you could just add them, especially if we're talking about small articles, just put parentheses around it, la historia de las tapas of the article. And you can also say according to. So I said, like the information, como la información en historia de las tapas, or you could say according to the information in la historia de las tapas. So that's another way that you could write that. And según a la historia de las tapas. So basically all you're doing is you would say según a. Accent over the U. Según a la historia de las tapas. You could do that as well. So that's basically what you would do. It's not that difficult. And you can do como la información or según a. Just make sure you include those sources and you cite them because that's important. I want to know where the information is coming from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read information over las tapas. And maybe you missed it while I was talking. And if you could write down on your paper, I want you to put 3. And if you could just write las tapas. And right now I'm just going to speak for a few minutes and I'm going to go over las tapas, la historia de las tapas. I'm going to go over that source that you should have read, and if you didn't read it now, well then this is when you should do it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this, and if you could just write down 3 facts in Spanish over la historia de las tapas. So it says, hace muchos años era un rey de España, se llamaba Alfonso X. Era el rey de Galicia y Castellón. Todo el tiempo el rey le gustaba beber el vino. A veces, cuando no comes algo, el vino va a tu cabeza. Significa que está borracha. Pues, esta cosa pasó con Alfonso X. Pues, toda la gente pensó que ese hombre era súper chévere y siempre hacía que él hacía. Pues, las personas empiezan a comer las tapas. Hay otra idea sobre el origen de las tapas. Un día, un rey Alfonso VIII estaba bebiendo el vino cerca de la playa. De repente vino un viento muy largo. El rey usó un pedazo de pan para cubrir el vino, así la arena de la playa no pudo entrar la bebida. Todas las otras personas que eran los amigos de Alfonso pensaron que era una idea buena también. Así todo el mundo lo hizo. En el pasado no había muchas tapas diferentes, pero ahora hay una variedad de tapas diferentes. Toda la gente come tapas en España ahora, antes de la cena, para mostrar amistad. En España, toda la gente no come en la casa, usualmente la gente come en bares. Mucha gente come afuera de la casa y todos reciben tapas diferentes y comparten el plato con los otros. So, if you need to replay that again, you should do that. I want you to write down 3 facts from las tapas. If not, right now I'm going to explain the Post-its. I'm going to just give you a general review over the Post-it fuente that we talked about on Friday. So you should have right here, you should have tapas, and then you should have 3 different facts about the tapa activity. And then if you could just have 3 different facts about the Post-it activity, or the fuente. So I'm going to read about that. So just write down 3 facts from the Post-it fuente. En muchos países latinoamericanos, la tecnología no es muy avanzada. Por ejemplo, aquí, toda la gente usa los teléfonos celulares y es un parte de cada día. Pero en muchos países del tercer mundo, el servicio no existe en muchas partes, especialmente en las montañas. Pues a veces los granjeros lo usan para comunicar con otros granjeros. Por ejemplo, un granjero lo pega en la espalda de una vaca. La vaca camina al otro lado de la granja y el otro granjero recibe este mensaje. So that was just a quick review of what we did last Friday. So you should have 3 facts written for tapas. I don't know why it keeps doing that. And 3 facts written for Post-its. So, on your very last paragraph, this paragraph will be your conclusion. I just want you to basically sum up the 2 most important things that have changed since you experienced this small thing. So I did this in my presentación oral. If you go down here, I talk about how my life has changed since I had this thing in my life. So now I say, now I am a teacher. If I didn't go to the university, I wouldn't know my spouse or have many strong experiences. If I didn't go to the university, probably I would have a job that pays a minimum salary, minimum wage. I am a mom, teacher, a friend, and many people, and a wife. I play many roles, and my life has meaning. This piece of paper helped me to be the person that I am today. So what I want you to do is I just want you to take some time on that paragraph 4, or number 4, and write down the 2 most important things that have changed since you experienced this small thing. And I want you to write it in Spanish, so it can be 2 short sentences. Mine was a little bit longer. So now I have a job that I love, and I met my husband in college. So those are 2 really important things that have had an impact on my life. So think about how your life is different now. After you have done that, you are done. So tomorrow, when you come to class, I hope to see everyone's paper on their desk with the 4 different things listed in their notes, and that will help us start writing our paper over una cosa muy pequeña que ha resultado